Thank everybody for tuning in to Billionaire Radio, WLWNEAR, because the billions are near. Yup, I'm your host, Big Arm, the industry plug. I'm rocking solo today. Lateef couldn't make it, so we here. Got a lot to talk about. Understand today is season 2, episode 98. And even though it's still one of the infamous Troll Brothers here, we still going to take you on the infamous plane ride. Yup, it's going to be a little bit rocky, a little bit turbulence, all that good stuff. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Right now, we live on Glockwood Radio. So much going on. It's a whole lot going on, matter of fact. The world's going crazy. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, share, subscribe to Billionaire Radio. Appreciate everybody. You know, so much going on. It's like people saying, like some of y'all wanted me to run it back, what happened with that situation with what's going on with the two brothers. I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna come back to that. Because it's so many other things that's actually been going on, so many things that's been happening. Crazy thing, you know, wait a minute. First of all, I came across something. I'm like, wait a minute. They said it's bed bugs. So it's an inmate that died because of bed bugs. I'm like, all right, hold on, wait a minute. Now, I'm not saying that happened allegedly, but they're saying that there's an inmate that died eaten alive by bed bugs. Now, I'm just saying, wouldn't you think that if one inmate has bed bugs, don't all of them? Won't all of them have bed bugs? Like, what's the difference between this one cell that this one has bed bugs and the other one doesn't? I'm just saying. And would that be the new way of would you say that the death penalty, bed bugs? I know, but I came across that and I said, damn, how they got bed bugs? Like, that's the most craziest thing I've seen. But I guess there's bed bugs in jail. So, but would you feel some kind of way if somebody got, you know, your loved one went to jail and it was bed bugs that got to him? It's like, hey, listen, you know, you're writing letters back and forth, and all of a sudden, the situation happened with bed bugs. How would that make you feel? I know it might be a little different. All right, but crazy, right? Everybody talking about the 16-year-old, right? I gotta hop on this. The 16-year-old. So he's trying to find it. He's gonna go pick up his siblings. He goes to the wrong address, right? He goes to the wrong address, and when he goes to the wrong address, the guy shoots him. Now, what's crazy about the story is, 16 years old, going to the door, the guy pulls out a gun. First of all, you ain't gotta open your door. If you don't recognize somebody at your door, you ain't gotta open the door. Let's just start there. Second, why would you even shoot a 16-year-old kid who's unarmed? That doesn't make any sense. So, of course, I'm thinking, okay, this gotta be racist. You got the old white guy in his 80s, and you got the young kid who's 16 years old. I'm sitting there thinking, dang. So this the times we coming in. Now, the only good thing is that he survived. But what happened was he opened the door, he shoots him in the head. What makes the story so bad is that he shot him in the head, then stood over him and shot him again. And by the grace of God, he was allowed to get up and run. He went to 3 doors. The third door told him to lay down. But eventually, they took him to the ambulance and took him away. Now, this story bugged me a little bit because I'm like, we live in the times now where you're getting shot on sight. Now, of course, everybody, you know, is calling it a race thing. And they're saying, wow, you know what? This is what the white people are doing to the black people. I'm thinking the whole thing. I'm thinking, all right, this is bad. But then I come across another story where there's a 20-year-old white girl who she's driving with her three friends in the car. They make a U-turn in somebody's driveway. And then this happens in Washington County in New York. And all of a sudden, the guy comes out and shoots shoots in the car. It's a white guy. So now we really can't say that the white people were just shooting the black people because the white guy shot the white girl because she went the wrong way in a U-turn in the driveway, just turned around. They said that the way the roads are, it's easy to get lost back there. But unfortunately, the girl dies. So he shoots and kills the girl. So now I'm thinking, well, dang, we live in the times now where you can't even pull nobody's driveway anymore. Like, that's what's crazy. Because when I seen that, I'm thinking, how many times have we all just pulled in somebody's driveway and went the wrong way? It's like, dang, it's the wrong way. Just pull around. So now this guy, people gonna start shooting you now. So he's in custody. Everybody's in custody, right? The 80-year-old man's in custody for killing the black guy. I mean, the black kid, 16-year-old, and the other guy, I think he's in his 40s, late 40s, maybe close to 50. But the point is, he shot the white girl. She was 20 years old, and now he's facing charges. Both of them are facing charges. The only thing that I was thinking about is about the one with the black kid coming to. This is the stand your ground law that sometimes gets in the way, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this black kid that actually was shot, and he came to somebody's property. Because they say if somebody comes to your property, depending on what state you're in, you're allowed to defend yourself. But there wasn't a threat. But we're going to see how this plays out. But I'm just saying, we're living in the times now where people are actually shooting people because they feel like it. That's what I'm going to say, because they can feel like it. So now I'm going to tie this thing all the way to what's going on with Tennessee with the two brothers. I touched on a little bit last week, but there was two brothers that was expelled, because they were Democrats, right? You got Justin Parson and his other buddy Justin, and then you had the white lady. She didn't get the vote. She didn't get expelled. We talked about that. So people were saying, well, what is it that he did that was so bad? And they're saying, well, what he did was he had the bullhorn, for one, and he also was slapping the podium and pretty much making a ruckus and, creating I guess we're going to say democracy. People saying, well, you know what? He shouldn't have been doing it. Now, there's a couple ways to look at this, because he's saying it's an 80-20 vote, 80-20 setup where there's more Republicans and Democrats in Tennessee, and they're not passing any bills for the Democrats. And so he was saying whenever he raised his hand, the Speaker of the House was overlooking him. So because that was happening, he said, okay, I'm just going to just abruptly just say what I'm going to say out. So we know that didn't play out like it wanted to, because they end up, saying he's absent for the day, excusing him, and now expelling him. And of course, Kamala Harris had to come back. But my whole thing was, he's doing this for gun reform. He feel like this would be gun reform. Now, I just watched one of his interviews lately, and he's saying, well, you know what? He's not against the Second Amendment, as far as the Second Amendment right to bear arms. He said he's okay with that. He's saying assault rifles should not end up in the hands of 18-year-old kids, or even, younger, 15 to 18-year-old kids or younger. Now, this happened after the shooting in Tennessee over the schools, where they had the 6 people that, unfortunately, they were shot, they was killed, and 3 of them were children. So gun reform. But so I'm sitting there thinking, I said, okay, well, gun reform is a big deal, but we have a lot of other problems going on in the actual communities than gun reform. But it was brought to my attention that when we speak of gun reform, we're speaking of legal guns. See, I want to clear it up, because everybody feels like gun reform is the answer. Understand, gun reform is for legal guns, meaning, okay, you registered the firearm, and we want to make the qualifications harder for you to get them. More of a check, more of a background check. That's a little different. Most of the guns on the streets that are doing the killing, we know, are illegal. You know what I mean? Or illegal firearms. So that wouldn't even apply for gun reform. So it's 2 different things. But somebody brought to my attention. They said, well, because he took a stand and he did it his way, he's now going to be known as somebody forever. Like he took a stand. He's going to be this martyr. It's going to be this national attention. But then I said, on the flip side of the coin, If everybody says, "Hey, this is what I'm gonna do to get attention," you know, this is going to be a problem because they're going to start shutting that down. Not saying that what he did wasn't a good idea, but it depends on where he goes with it. Because if he goes into say, "Hey, you know what? Gun reform is a big deal," and now he's going to tie it into how it's going to help save all the communities. And then he says, "You know what? Why I have this platform? There's another agenda I want to speak on. I want to talk about the education system because nobody's talking about the education system in the hood and things like that. Nobody's having that conversation, because we all know that the education system is not unfair based on the zip code where you live at in America. We know that. The wealthy get the best schools, the best education, and, the poverty and the unwealthy, they don't. So, and that affects them. So that's a bigger issue that nobody's really talking about. It's a few other issues that's going on, but we'll just see what's going on with the whole thing with the gun reform. But I felt like it was interesting to just touch on that because there's a difference between gun reform and illegal guns. There's two different conversations. But gun reform does not benefit the hood and the neighborhood. Let's just call it what it is, especially the black neighborhoods. It doesn't help that out at all because that's not their issue. The issue is illegal guns. But the school shootings definitely is a problem, and it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. So I just felt like we had to touch on that because that's a little crazy. Um, you know, then I came across, just switching gears a little bit, you know, uh, so John Morant from the Grizzlies, he's having an issue where he's having a lawsuit right now because allegedly there was a teen lied and said that he tried to attack him, he tried to fight him and pull his gun out, things like that, and he's saying, hey, listen, you're going to mess up my deal with the NBA, and you're going to mess up my deal with some of my endorsements. And supposedly this is all made up, so he's going to go to court. And he's trying to say this didn't happen. But I'm glad this happened to John Morant because he need to recognize he's not a regular person no more. You just can't be going out to neighborhood basketball courts and just be playing with people because you got to take it real serious right now because you already have a target on your back because you already had a couple of charges. You had the gun charge, things like that. So anybody can say anything and set you up for money. We're living in the times where people will set you up for money if they can. So John Morant should not just be going anywhere to no basketball court. And if he did, it should be somebody with him with the phone out filming. I'm pretty sure that should be the case. Somebody should have the phone out filming because that way if something happens to him, we can actually say, you know what, that didn't happen. We know that didn't happen. But he's sitting there wanting to file these charges. But like I said, I'm glad it happened because he need to realize he's not a regular person anymore. Like, that's something different, for him. Like, he shouldn't be doing that, Um, I know y'all paying attention to what's going on to the music industry right now, what's going on with music. And the AI conversation is really serious right now. The artificial intelligence, the AI, they have a couple of tracks going on. One was an AI track with Drake and Ice Spice. Another one was an AI track with Drake and The Weeknd, and it went viral. So now people are able to make these songs with these software programs with real rappers' voices. And there's nothing that the rapper can do about it. So this is going to be interesting because now some of these songs are going viral on the internet, and you really can't tell too much of a difference. Even have one with Jay-Z, you really can't tell so much of a difference. But what it does, it definitely hurts the artist, and it hurts the label, of course, because the artist losing money, the label losing money, and they're saying there's no way to really stop it because there's no laws in place now to say you can't do it. If they did create a law, how would you track to see where the track came from? You just push it online. You can go anywhere and just put it on the internet. So because of that, that's a big deal right now. Drake's upset. Drake's upset, and he feels as though he has an answer. He feel like he's gonna try to say something, but it's gonna be interesting to see all these AI tracks coming out. And people, really, we don't really care, unfortunately. We just like good music. So we'll just be dancing to whatever, not knowing who made it, what producer, if it's real, if it's not real. So it's going to be a big thing now where people are going to be taking these voices in the studio and putting them out and make it look like it was somebody else, and they're going to be able to monetize it and make money off of it because there's no way to shut it down. So that's going to be pretty interesting. We got to pay attention to that because we're going to start seeing more and more and more of that. You know, something just came across that I feel like some of these rappers, I got to slide on the G Herbo. Y'all know, so G Herbo in 2020 had a fraud case for 1.5 million, committing fraud. Him, 4 or 5 other guys, and of course, they're saying it was identity theft. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, okay, we wondering where these rappers be getting this money from, because the music is sometimes be like, if the label's not paying you, where you really get this money from to be flying these jets and doing this and making this thing happen? So now we're finding out that some of these rappers are doing illegal activity, and it's now coming full circle, because he's been doing this for 4 years. For 4 years, identity theft, G Herbo, and now he's going to court. He's trying to file this appeal right now. But the thing that caught my attention is you created this whole buzz, this whole wave, like you really was getting money like that, and you're doing illegal activity. So it makes you think, well, who else is doing illegal activity? And what other illegal fraud are they doing? Because they cracking down on a lot of the fraud and things like that. Which bring me into 42 Doug, who was, another situation. Top rapper, making things happen. He's on a lot of popular tracks, and he's looking at 5 years extra in federal prison because he got jammed up and he decided to not go to court. Now, had he went to court for his situation, he would looked at, they said 6 months. It would have been a 6-month sentence and a little fine, $250,000 fine. And like I said, this is back in 2020. It was gun possession. So he ended up getting a gun possession charge. And what makes this so stupid is that he's not supposed to have a firearm. So he goes to the firing range and he shoots the gun at the firing range. Shoots the gun at the firing range, and now, didn't make any sense. Shoots the gun at the firing range, and now he shoots the gun, and now he's being charged for having the possession of a gun at a firing range. The judge gives him 6 months. So 6 months jail time. He says, I'm not going to court. He skips court. So now, because he didn't go to court, he now got to do 5 years. It's the dumbest thing ever I've heard. Why not just take the 6 months? Now you got to do 5 years. And you're a popular rapper. And you got to sit for 5 years. Now he's upset. But I feel like that was the dumbest thing ever. Like, sometimes these artists, they get in these troubles that they don't have to get in trouble. Like, they need better guidance. I think some of them, they need to have a better PR, better management. Somebody need to be on their team, because they're making some of the dumbest decisions not making any sense. But the funniest thing that caught my attention, right? It was this popular soccer player, and he was married for 2 years, 2 children. Well, much longer. 2018 he was married. 2018 he got married. They had 2 children. Now she wants to file for divorce. I know y'all seen this popular story. I was cracking up because this guy's real smart. So he's worth $17 million, but he has 80% of his money going to his mom's account. Everything in his mom's name. He put nothing in his name. He only gets 20% of his salary. Anything that happens, anything he wants, he tells his mom, he says, hey, listen, you pay for this, pay for the house, pay for the car note. His mom pays for everything. Now, the wife didn't know this. So the wife filed for divorce. And she says she wanted half his money. So she tried to file and take half his money. I don't know what the rules are overseas, but whatever happened, now she got the dumb look on her face because as she's saying, she's not getting any money because she's learning that everything's his mom's name. So this may be the new wave. You might start to see brothers now putting things in their mom name, their dad name, their cousin name. No, probably not the cousin. Cousin may take the money. But definitely mom and dad. But then again, some people's mom may be crooked. But I'm just thinking, she was married for 2 years. They're not saying what the purpose is. It's almost like she had a game plan to make it come up and take some money. Like she was a gold digger. And we're not gonna act like those don't happen. 'Cause they definitely out there. They definitely be doing these things. But I was like, wow, I've never thought about doing anything like that. That is crazy. But it's a oh, you know what? So, all right. The transgender community. Hey, listen, man. All right. So I'm minding my business. That's what I call it. Minding my business. So I come across now we have a transgender community. We have a queer couple that gives birth. It's a big deal now. They said it's the first trans to give birth. I don't know, but I wasn't going to click on it. I wasn't going to watch it. I said I'm not going to look at this. I said, you know what? I gotta look at this. Some things make you say, all right, let me see what this is. All right, so I go watch it. I click on it, and so the transgender is in the delivery room and about to push a baby. Why is this a big deal? Because the transgender is trans man. So it's a woman that decided to live her life as a man, but did all the necessities to look like a man. I'm talking took the hormones. I mean, the beard is thicker than mine. The beard got the gut, like look just like a guy. I mean, you couldn't tell it wasn't a guy. I mean, might have had waves in the hair. I don't know, but it threw me off because I'm like, you can't even tell that it was an actual woman. It looked just like a man, but all the genitals are still there. And Lily had the baby. It threw me off. I'm saying, like, why is this a big deal? I'm saying this is what the world's coming to. It's going to be a little different. Now, I don't knock what people do. Just understand some things is going to be a little different. When you see people, you may have to ask them what they are. And the funny thing is, I asked somebody one day, I said, are you a man or a woman? They said, that's none of your business. They said, I'm non-binary. I said, okay. So what does that mean? It says, I don't identify as a man or a woman. Like, this is the times that we're coming to. So when you meet new friends, because I don't want no more new friends. I'm cool. But when you meet new friends, understand that we're going to run into some situations where we're not going to be able to tell if a person's a man or a woman. And it's not that it's a bad thing or nothing. I don't might think I'm bashing, but I think there needs to be like preparation. I think it's definitely shock value 101. Like, I think it needs to be like some kind of like prep. I think it's cool to let somebody know, hey, listen, what you see is not what I really am. So, if we decide to become friends and we hanging out, I think it's only fair that you tell them, hey, listen, I'm a little different than what you think I am. Because it throws a lot of people off. I think that's how we get along better. If we're more honest, if we could say, I look like a man, but I'm really a woman. I still have a vagina. I think we'll get along better. Versus, the man hanging out with you playing spades, talking about, my parents coming on. You like, what? Your parents come? I feel like we need to have this kind of conversation. But this is where the future's going, though. I'm saying it now because they're making a big deal of it. Disney started the first. I'm not even going. You know what? I ain't going to touch Disney. Next week I'm going to tell you what Disney's doing. But all I'm saying is it's definitely something that we need to pay attention to, and I think we need to be fair on both sides of the spectrum. You want to live your life as a different gender. I feel like you should let me know that. Just let me know that you're going to live your life as a different gender. That way I'm not shocked. When you start telling me you're pregnant, and I thought the whole time you was my homie giving me pounds. I'm just saying. I just think we just figure that one out. It only makes sense. But like I said, threw me for a loop. It was definitely something to think about. Definitely something to think about. But interesting. I ran across something, and I was hoping I was making this up. I was hoping this really didn't happen. I ran across something, and pretty much it was they said it was a guy, and he is a black guy. He's 36 years old, and whatever the charge it was domestic violence, something, whatever. It was. I don't think it matters, but when the cops came on the scene, he spit on the cops. He spit on the cops, and so when he got the sentence, they gave him 70 years. I had to read it like 6 times. I said, they gave this guy 70 years for spitting on the cops? I'm thinking, hopefully it can be appealed. But I never knew that was even possible. I feel like it got to be more to the story, because how do you give somebody 70 years for spitting on you? He didn't shoot nobody. He didn't kill nobody. He spit on 2 cops. Even if you gave him 3 years, I'm like, you know what? He deserved those 3 years, but 70 years for spitting on the cop? Like, it had to be something that took place in the courtroom, or something had to happen. But I feel like that's a big issue if they can just start doing stuff like that. I don't think that's even fair. But I'm not defending anybody. I don't think it's fair, though. I think that's a little crazy, that can even happen. But, not that it's a sports show. It's not a sports show. But I got to touch on real quick. But everybody's talking about this Draymond Green situation where he literally stepped on the guy. And when I heard he stepped on the guy, I thought it was a bad situation. It's dangerous stepping on people. Everybody don't know Draymond Green's the one from the Golden State Warriors. He's always getting in trouble. But when I watched the video, the guy is clearly holding his leg. Now, I guess they was playing the Kings, Sacramento Kings, and the guy was holding his leg, and the ref didn't say nothing. And so he stepped on him. And as they always say, the second guys always want to get caught. In this case, he's the one that got caught. And I just felt like that was kind of crazy, because it's like, you got ejected. Now, even though somebody's holding your leg, I really think stepping on somebody is a little too much. Like, if you step on me, we definitely going to fight. But pretty much, that's like a big deal, whereas though you're stepping on people because they're holding your leg. They're saying, well, 2 wrongs don't make it right. But yeah, but to step on somebody, but they saying they're going to check his ribs, saying it's broke. I don't think it was that kind of hard of a step. But I just think that was just a little too overbearing, that you're going to literally step on somebody and the game is going on. Probably mad because you're losing. But he's always doing something. So you're like, what's the point of this? The whole point of this is that you can't be stepping on people. That's the whole point. You can't be stepping on people in the middle of an NBA game and thinking it's okay. Even though he held your legs. We don't care about you holding your legs. Those kind of things happen. It's not a big deal. But I just think that's a problem, and they definitely need to crack down on those kind of things, because if you let him get away with it, then someone else should do it next time. So I think they need to make an example out of Draymond Green and say, hey, you really can't be stepping on people, But as I get ready to slide out of here, though, because I'm gonna give y'all a gift. I'm gonna give y'all a jewel. Somebody said, what's gonna be the jewel? So I was actually online, of course, right? Online. And these women in this chat group, right? And it was like, this is how do you make a booty call look like it's a date? So, that's interesting. Let me see this. So this is what they say to do. They said, if you want to make a booty call like a date, they said, in the afternoon sometime, make a phone call to the girl. Act like you're really busy, have a lot going on. You say, hey, I'm really busy, a lot going on right now, but I'll be free after 10 o'clock. I'll give you a call after 10 o'clock. And then 10 o'clock, you call her. It's late. What's open? It's nothing really left. You say, hey, I really want to see you. But you say that the first time you call her. And they said, okay. So at 10 o'clock, you call and say, hey, I really want to see you. And, but things are closed. What can we do? So they're saying that, of course, if everything is closed, then you can just meet up and get together. I'm thinking, I don't know what planet they're on, but I don't think that would really work. But people actually had this discussion, and they said that's something that you could try to do. I'm like, the people that I know, they're not falling for that. People I know be like, well, just call me tomorrow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, we see each other tomorrow. But that's definitely, an idea to make a booty call, a date like a booty call like a regular date. That's something that they said. You said, why did I say that? Because somebody asked me about it, and I was like, all right, I'm going to bring it up. But I can't forget Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts got his money. I got to say this. Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, quarterback, is now not the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, the highest player in the NFL. Like 255 million, crazy. Like 5 years, crazy. Like he surpassed everybody. Like he is now the highest paid. Hopefully he plays better. You know when they get their money, they don't play as well. But I think for him it's going to be different. You know, he's the highest paid, and got Lamar Jackson. He was trying to get his money. He got his money. So he's in the mix. He got his money. Got Deshaun Watson. You got Odell Beckham over there with Lamar Jackson. So I'm telling you, the AFC is going to be Deshaun Watson against Lamar Jackson. The AFC. The Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl, whether you like it or not. It's going to happen. Like the team would just dominate. We still got the receivers and everybody. But I just felt like everybody should know that Jalen Hurts got his money. But again, I think everybody will tune in and y'all gonna be like, you didn't engage us. I had some comments. I wanted to say some things. I'm like, listen, next time. We're gonna do it next time. But hopefully y'all had a good time. Hope y'all learned something. Season 2. We're coming up on our 3rd season too, y'all. We're coming up on our 3rd season. So it's gonna be something special coming up for 3rd season. I'm gonna let everybody know. We're gonna make an announcement when everything comes through. But we got something major going on for 3rd season. But season 2, episode 98 in the books. We leave no stones unturned. Billionaire Radio. Billions. Thanks, Toucan.